Welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Rahi and Roy. The crew is back in action.
He's
back in
back.
action. But we're talking a little bit about, we covered the Asian Cup in detail, but there's a specific reason why we're talking today about a specific incident that happened to our good old buddy, Jurgen Klinsmann. You guys remember that guy?
I remember that guy. He came back. He somehow found this job. Right. I don't know how, but we could have saved the Korean Football Federation $7 million. We could have saved them a year, a terrible Asia Cup. They should have just called us. They should have just called us, Roy.
Very confused how guys like this just fail upwards. It's shocking.
Don't you do that? Isn't that what you do, Roy?
I
Just
do,
fail
but
upwards?
it's less in the public eye job, so I could get away with it. But this guy on international television every single week, displaying his lack of tactical awareness, displaying exactly what he displayed for the U.S. It just doesn't make any sense. It reminds me of Frank de Boer getting the Netherlands job. What was that? A year and a half ago now? After
After
failing
Atlanta.
at every club, failing in MLS. Then he gets crowned the Netherlands job and he plummets. He does horrible. Same
All
thing.
right, let's talk a little bit about some of the background, because some of the stuff that's coming out of the South Korean media is fascinating. And so firstly, there was apparent bust up between Song Hun Min and Lee Kang-in, and over some ping pong.
Between Sonny
Yeah.
is supposed to be the nicest guy in the sport.
Yeah.
Like the nicest guy.
You know
He
what
got
though?
in
I'm
a
remembering a video. I am remembering a video between Hugo Lloris and Son, a Tottenham video where they were yelling at each other. So
Oh,
this-
yeah.
But
this
go
is the
back and
second
watch
time.
that.
This
Go
is the
back.
second time that I'm hearing something about Son.
Yes, but go back and watch that video. Son is yelling at Lloris, but in the sweetest way possible. It's like he's trying to be angry, but he just can't. Watch that video. It's like a little boy yelling, but he just really can't muster up that anger inside him because it doesn't actually exist. He's just too nice.
Yeah.
He's
How
the
he got
sweetest
in
guy
this
in the
fight?
sport, man. Sweetest guy in the sport.
But it was a
I love
fight
him.
over table tennis apparently, or something like that.
So the story, we have to talk to our good friend Sol, but the story apparently is that Lee Kang-in wanted to go play ping pong. So they were rushing through dinner, basically. So some of the younger players wanted to finish their meal quickly so that they could go finish ping pong. And Son was upset because it's tradition. You eat with the team, you finish your meal,
Oh, I love it.
But ping pong was calling, boy. What are they going to do?
We get it. Sounds like me at work, man. Trying to finish work at 3:30 p.m. so I could go play ping pong for 2 hours. It's perfect.
For international viewers, we're talking about table tennis. But anyway,
Right.
Continue. Yeah.
No, but that's the Klinsmann effect. I mean,
Yes,
take
exactly.
a man like Sonny, who's the nicest player ever. Can you imagine ever getting a fight with any other player? And because he's had to deal with Klinsmann for an entire year, he becomes a fighting machine, causing internal strife on his own team.
That's what it
is
is.
what happens when you
Yeah.
spend too long with Jurgen Klinsmann. That's
What it is. When there's a source of frustration that just lingers, that's just ever present, you try to keep your cool, you try to stay calm, but there's something small that's just going to make you erupt. And it's not going to be Klinsmann. He's not going to erupt with Klinsmann. He's going to erupt with someone else that doesn't deserve it. These poor kids that are trying to go play ping pong.
Yeah.
It's
So let's
unbelievable.
get to the other. Let's get to the other aspect of it. In the press conference after South Korea was eliminated from the Asian Cup, there was as usual, complete denial of responsibility by Klinsmann. No, he doesn't take any kind of responsibility on himself. It's always deflecting, putting it kind of on the players. Alluding to problems within the team, so on and so forth. This is just typical, guys. We've seen this all before.
No, it's a disaster. In the beginning, I remember the day Jurgen Klinsmann was hired by the U.S. national team. I was excited, Roy. I texted you. I was excited.
Oh, God.
It looked like a
Yeah.
good day. It turned out that instead of a dream, it was a terrible, terrible nightmare. By the end of it, I think he was the worst manager, aside from Steve Sampson, in the history of U.S. soccer.
He was. And I remember when he was announced, he did open training sessions at the LA Galaxy Stadium, and I showed up to them. And I was watching as an aspiring coach saying, this is a lot easier than I thought it would be. I'm not this far off, man. I'm watching this guy running his training sessions. Wow, I'm closer than I thought to being a professional soccer coach. Little did I know, I was just watching a terrible coach.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, just run. Run with passion. I mean, that's
he
what
was so charismatic that he sells it. He's scared, and he had like a little microphone that he was talking to the fans, or maybe 4,000 fans, 3,000 fans watching. And he'll explain things to us. He'll talk to us. He'll get us hyped up. It was one of the best moments in U.S. soccer history, the most exciting moments in U.S. soccer history when it came to a coach. What a disaster!
So let's finish with this. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I give the Koreans credit for getting rid of him when they have. You know,
Yeah.
he fooled us for a long time, and the Koreans, smarter than we are, said, "Okay, you're done." Even though we made the semifinals of the Asia Cup, we are done with you. Right? It's not a bad performance on results, but they saw that every game they just survived, didn't play for 80 minutes. Klinsmann famously during this tournament said, maybe we should start every game down 1-0. Well, you got your wish, Jurgen, because in the semifinal you were down 1-0, but then you were down 2-0, right? I mean, that's a typical silly Klinsmann comment. He was smiling after they lost. Typical, the Koreans didn't like that. And this, we fell for it. We fell for it, and they didn't.
Yep.
I don't know why they hired him.
Man.
I don't know
South
why
Korea
they hired
brought
him. They
this
should've called
on
us.
themselves. They saw what he was made of.
So this is what I want to finish with. I mean, what is moving forward? What happens to Jurgen Klinsmann moving forward? Because do you believe after the U.S. national team and after this incident, are major national teams still going to hire this guy? What's happening? Because guys, we've seen this, and I personally think the U.S. program was set back because of the Klinsmann tenure, personally. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, what happens to Jurgen is, I think we can do a screen where we have 4 people on at the same time, right? He probably gets a permanent spot on our show, and that's the height of his career. I think that's what's next for him. I think he's on the panel here. We can have a tactical discussion with him. He'll always have a different opinion than us because he doesn't really know what tactics are, but I think that's the height of his career. Analyst, on TV, maybe entertainer, maybe Dancing with the Stars, something like that. Like, that's the end, right? No more managerial sidelines for Jurgen Klinsmann. That's the end.
And I don't think he wants it, man. I think he took many years off from coaching. I think he's seeing this, the pressure, the hatred. I'm sure he's getting a lot of hate mail. I'm sure his social media is exploding with hate from South Korean fans. And I think deep inside he knows he's going to be cool about this. He's not going to fight with the fans. He's not going to say anything wrong. He's going to go out on a high, at least personality-wise. And this might be it for him. If he ever gets another job, I wouldn't be shocked if it was a Saudi Arabian club team, something along those lines. They tend to hire big personalities.
MLS, maybe?
I don't know, man. He never made friends with MLS.
Inter Miami looking for a new manager in 2 months?
There's no way.
Leo Messi and Jurgen Klinsmann together?
MLS hates Jurgen Klinsmann because you remember there's still a subsect of U.S. soccer fans who love Jurgen Klinsmann and thinks he's the best coach we've had in the past decade and a half.
We need to have another episode just with
why.
them.
He's the first one to say players should leave MLS in order to be successful. And people love that about him. People think we need him back.
I support that.
Yeah, I mean, you can make statements like that. I mean, there's people who made capital statements like that, and that's the extent of what they've done.
Yep.
So
wow, a lot of Jurgen hate from Sahil, wouldn't you say? Like, I've never seen.
I'll tell you this.
I'll
tell you this. Look, we try to be nice to everyone on this show, and I just want to preface that our goal is to be nice to everyone. It's when individuals are very arrogant and don't accept blame for failure, I have issues with that. And I'd say we should never go after anyone who is, humble, accepts mistakes, understands that they're not perfect. But this particular individual, I'll leave it at that.
Wow.
Has the ability to deflect.
You're nice all day until you try and play ping pong during dinner. this is his ping pong during dinner. You know, that's what it is.
Ping pong
Klinsmann
argument.
is ping
His
pong
teammate.
during dinner.
This
That's
was
what
his
it is.
argument, like this tone, smiling, very friendly about it, but clearly Sahil's a little mad here.
A lot of hate. A lot of
humility is a beautiful thing. So, anyhow, we will come back now that we can put this episode to bed. We will come back and continue to cover a lot of exciting stuff moving forward as we get into the part of the year where the tournaments are coming up. The U.S. national team, the women's team is coming up, the men's team coming up later, and a lot more to talk about from the international world. If this is something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel, and we will be back with these boys later. And as we can say now to Jurgen Klinsmann, auf Wiedersehen.
Oh, wow.
Do you think
And we
Korea should
stand
hire
with you.
Greg Berhalter if he were fired?
Oh God, I hope to say the
Berhalter
same
to
thing.
Korea next?
Please,
I don't know.
please. And we stand with our Korean brothers and sisters here. Vamos
Great
Korea.
decision, Koreans.
We feel your-